You're listening to Podcast PXN,
a video game podcast,
delivering a player experience news.
Let's go! What is up, guys, and welcome to Podcast PXN, episode 310. I am one of your hosts, Daniel Prindle, aka Dan is DTM on, yes, still Twitter. And I am joined over Discord by the resident Embark Glazer and my fellow Spartan, Gage Dempster at Gilbo Biggins.
I'm so ready to glaze.
Glaze on, soldier. Thank you to everyone who is watching us live and participating in the chat. Just as a reminder, we are live each and every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on youtube.com/@podcastpxn and twitch.tv/podcastpxn as well. I already see Glenn and Kirik in the chat. Thank you, boys. The topic of the show this week is our Battlefield 6 launch impressions. We're going to dive right into those. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it then right now. Battlefield 6 is out, Gage. We have played it. But before we get to our thoughts there, I have a couple of news stories that kind of coincide with this as well. There was a bunch of issues with the EA app at launch, which basically didn't allow players to get into the game, which is kind of unfortunate for your flagship game, EA. What the fuck? But it prompted Vince Zampella, who is heading up, of course, the Battlefield Studios, as well as doing his normal duties of heading up Respawn, going on Twitter telling people to refund the game on EA Store and buy the game on Steam instead, which is just awesome. At least, like, he's not apologetic about it. He's like, fuck you, EA, you can't get your shit together. I'm going to direct people to a platform that's actually functional.
Right. The amount, I just want to say, like, when this news broke too shortly after, the amount of, like, pictures of Gabe Newell's face I saw on the timeline and everyone was just posting some sort of variation of do nothing and win, where it's just like this, like, this is it's too good. Steam just existing and having the head of one of EA's most important development franchises saying, like, hey, go to the other platform and buy it.
Yeah,
it's just awesome.
Yes. Well, this is a whole other topic for conversation, but like, in the past, I've talked about being concerned about how much market share Steam controls on PC, and, like, is that a concern for the future? Obviously, right now, it's really good with Gabe and control and all of that. I'm always concerned about, like, what happens in the future if Gabe's not around and, you know, Steam or Valve becomes one of these companies or gets acquired by a bigger company, and then, you know, things change on its head. But for right now, we're living good on Steam. Even
just them going public, right, could be a huge shift in, like, how they do things.
For sure. One thing they did do right, which props to the Battlefield development team for doing this. They posted an apology here on Twitter. They said, "Today we experienced an outage on the EA app that prevented some of our players who pre-ordered Battlefield 6 from accessing the game. And we know this can be frustrating, so we wanted to offer an apology with perks. The fix has been rolled out, but we aren't done. Anyone on the EA app who is impacted will receive 12 hardware and 12 career 60-minute boosters, which should be arriving in impacted players' inbox this weekend. In addition, we also will be granting impacted players full access to a seasonal battle pass. And if impacted players purchase the Phantom Edition bundle, we will be granting them access to Season 2's full Battle Pass, because the Phantom Edition includes Season 1's. We want to apologize again for this outage. See you on the battlefield." So at least props to them for making a good a little bit. Obviously, it's not a situation where you can't play the game that you bought, but helping ease that pain a little bit there. All right. We got another story here as well before we dive in. Ladders are getting fixed / nerfed very soon, but that hasn't stopped players from having fun while it lasted, or while it lasts, rather. There's a bunch of people posting videos on social media and Reddit of them using ladders and then bouncing around the map. It's insane. Like, you plant the ladder at an angle and then you jump on it and it bounces you like fucking across the map, and people are using it to do some crazy shit. It's pretty funny to see, but obviously, hopefully they get this fixed, because the ladders are a little wonky right now.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of like a less intense version of like the swing set from GTA 4, where it's like, if you approach these ladders at just the wrong, and I experienced this in the short time that we played, where it's like, if you experience them at a wrong angle, it'll just sort of like shoot you back 10, 15 feet for no reason. So I mean, this is good, but yeah, I haven't seen the exploits that people are doing, but I can only imagine that you could use this to get into places you're not supposed to.
Yeah. Oh, there's some crazy. You should look at that later. There's some crazy ass plays people were making with it. It's insane. One more thing I wanted to shout out before we actually get in the meat and potatoes of it, and that is the progression system, which this is one of the issues that I have with the game, which we'll get into here in a minute as well. But there was a user that posted on Reddit that made a lot of sense. I don't think he was anyways. Battlefield is making the same mistake that Halo Infinite did. Challenges are not a substitute for an actual progression system. And he says here, I'll start by saying that I have been having a fun time in the game and just want to see what's best for it. As the title states, I feel like Battlefield 6 is going down a road that is being abused more and more in games, prominently shown in Halo Infinite, where a heavy grind and challenge-oriented progression system handcuffs players into doing very specific tasks in order to progress. Instead of the game simply rewarding players for playing what they want and having fun, it pushes us down a force track in order to progress. This leads to frustration, burnout, and overall a feeling of having to do a list of tasks. While challenges do have their place and can be a fun way to augment a well-done progression system, they best are suited as supplemental to the game. Making weapons and equipment locked behind challenges does not help player retention and in fact hurts it as players get frustrated and stop playing. Challenges should be for cosmetic items only. Weapons and equipment should always be unlocked through normal progression of playing. So yeah, I completely agree with much of what they said here. I don't think it's exactly 1-to-1 with Halo Infinite, because there's no gameplay elements that are locked behind challenges in Halo Infinite and has never had that. And I also think that this is more pointing at what Halo Infinite's challenge system launched at, which was 100% the same type of thing. Because Halo Infinite's challenge system now, they completely basically nerfed it so much that it's basically non-existent, because all of the challenges are just, complete matches, get kills, like things that happen in every game mode no matter what you play. They really basic or watered them down to just be your most mundane basic things, so that people can play what they want and do what they want, which that's the approach I would rather see as well. Like this user is saying, like, I don't think it's helpful for the game to force players to play in a certain style of play or play in a certain playlist or play. Like, I hate that. Like, when I look in my challenges on Battlefield and I see get 10 kills as a recon class. Well, what if I don't want to be a recon class? Like, I don't like that stuff, and I do agree with that take on it.
Yeah, it doesn't help that. And one of the main problems I have with the game is not necessarily the challenges, although I do agree with everything you just said. It's that it feels like if you're trying to progress outside of completing challenges, it's a very, very slow grind, it feels like.
Yeah.
A lot of the challenges will reward you with like XP boosters and just like lump sums of XP. So I think not only is it kind of pushing people into a path where it's like, oh, if you want to unlock the next sniper rifle, you gotta spot 250 people and get,
Right.
100 headshots over 200 meters. It's like, not only is it just like play as this class, but like it's also like kind of like really specific stuff you got to do. And on top of the game just feeling like the progression needs to be tweaked in general, the heaviness leaning towards challenges kind of like just adds insult to injury.
For sure. Yeah, I agree. Okay. So to actually get into the meat and potatoes of it, Battlefield 6, our impressions, I guess since we just started with a negative there, let's start with the positives that we have on the game. I could start us off and just say playing this game in the beta versus the full release, I feel like it is like almost like night and day. Not to say that like obviously the beta was a ton of fun, but it was like such a limited narrow scope of what we are getting in the full game that it makes me like sit back and just appreciate what we've gotten at launch here. And like I absolutely love all of the sound design in this game, as we talked about in the beta as well. I think a lot of the maps are really fun. Like there are certain maps that I'm not as big of a fan of, but I think there's more maps there that I thought are good than I thought there would be coming from the beta, of course. So that's a really big positive. And like the actual gunplay is amazing. Like even as we progressed playing in the beta, I slowly started to figure it out, so to speak, to where when we were at the end of the beta, I was like, man, I just want more because I've gotten this gun, the PDX, that I fucking love, and I just keep hammering it. Well, and now that's translated perfectly to the full release where I'm just picking up right where we left off. And now, like, my stats are fucking insane compared to the beta because I've found this niche that I fucking love, and I figured out how to, sneak around the maps and do my play style that I love playing as. And like, this game doesn't punish you for playing a certain way. You can run out of the map, and yes, there's like a 10-second timer, but like you can run outside the map, run back inside the map at a different point, and the game doesn't punish you for that. You can do that, and then you go right back out in the outside zone, and your timer resets back to 10. So like you can use that type of mechanic to your advantage to try to get a foothold on the enemy. So like it's really fun just playing like the mind games with the enemy team, and yeah, having a ton of fun with it, Gage.
Yeah, this came up privately with Christian and I were talking about this, where it's like what I've always loved about, and what's interesting is it's not just Battlefield games, it seems to be DICE games, because the Star Wars Battlefront games were also like this, but it's so refreshing to play shooters that kind of like reward positioning and like strategy in that sense, where it's not just rush the flag and keep rushing until one side kind of loses resolve and the other side breaks through. It's like you can totally break away from your team, and this has happened plenty of times where I'm in the spawn screen and I see DTM symbol like halfway up the map away from everyone else, and I'm like, okay, I know what this guy's doing. He's about to make a fucking crazy flank play. And so I spawn on you, and then Christian spawns on me, and then our fourth spawns on us, and then it's like, now you've got a whole squad kind of coming in from the rear. And like, yeah, it's cool that any shooter game that has something more to it than just who has the faster reaction time is something that I gravitate towards. And Battlefield is one of those games where it's like you said, positioning, using the out of bounds screen timers, like sort of strategically, stuff like this that you can do. There was one match that you and I were playing where we were both holed up on like the second floor of like a shop, and I just kept putting down ammo, and we were like sitting up there just kind of holding down that corner of the street. And like, it's cool. Like if you were to have that sort of same gameplay moment in Call of Duty, it would not feel rewarding at all if you were just sitting in one spot. But there's something about Battlefield with the sense of immersion and the graphics, and especially the sound design, where it kind of just immerses you in the experience. So I could be sitting up there on that second floor for like 30 minutes straight, and it felt awesome the entire time because it was like we're just in the middle of it, just holding it down.
It's crazy too, because like every other Battlefield game that I've ever played, I've always enjoyed Battlefield as a franchise, but like my favorite moments from all of those games have always been from vehicles, and like that's been my like aha moment for Battlefield. It's just like flying the jets, flying the helicopters. Like people were terrible at flying those things in Bad Company 2, that kind of stuff. And I was I was ace pilot back then. Not so much now because the controls have changed way, drastically, and I'm still trying to figure that out. But that's what's great about this game. Like the core mechanics of the actual shooting and boots on the ground aspect of Battlefield 6 is the best that it's ever been for me. And like I'm enjoying it far more than I've enjoyed any other Battlefield on the ground experience. Christian said in the chat, maybe, just maybe, this game is meant to last longer than just a few days before you unlock everything. Think about it. I think that's fair. I think it's just the way that you're unlocking those things. I don't have a problem with it taking a minute to unlock everything. I just have issue with forcing players to play a certain play style or play a certain way in order to unlock things is my biggest takeaway, I think.
I think that's an oversimplification as well, too, because it also works in tandem with the challenge system, where it's like every time you're working towards a challenge that is like spot a bunch of enemies or revive a bunch of enemies, that's also time spent where you're not working towards your weapons. So there are certain systems that like compound and make it feel like the progression's even longer. I definitely think that especially weapon unlocks could use a slight tuning in the sense of increasing the speed, but I mean, I think it's an oversimplification to just say I want everything unlocked right away within a few days versus I'm using weapons for what feels like 3 or 4 hours and I still don't have like maybe 3 or 4 muzzles unlocked and there's still like 8 that are unlocked, like still left to unlock, and it just feels a little bit. I've noticed for like a lot of gun suppressors, I haven't unlocked a single suppressor with any gun because it feels like they all start at like rank 25 to rank 30 for a gun, and I'm like, damn, like you really can't even play around with certain builds for any gun until you've devoted at least like 6 to 8 hours of just using one weapon. It feels a little bit much to me.
Christian put in the chat, but those unlocks for those challenges are just skins and weapon presets, not attachments. But they also have challenges that you're unlocking key equipment, like like the motion sensor for the assault class. You have very specific challenges that you have to do to unlock that. Like it's not just
there are also weapons, whole new weapons that are unlocked, that are locked behind the challenge system as well.
Yeah, and I think that's what that Reddit user was saying, is that he's like, this should just be cosmetics that are behind these challenges. If you want to have, if you really want to drill down to like super specific challenges like this, then just make it for cosmetics. Don't make it for the actual progression of the game, because it doesn't necessarily drive the best player experience when you're forcing a player that may be a sniper or wants to play as a sniper all the time and forcing them to be an assault class and, with a SMG or an assault rifle or whatever. I know you can do assault class with sniper if you have open weapons, but I don't know.
In which case, too, make the skins fucking awesome, right? If you want to put some crazy ass specific challenges in there, I'm for that. Just make it, like you said, don't lock core gameplay progression behind it.
Yeah.
And you know what? Yeah, like juice up the skins too. Make it awesome. So if you see somebody wearing that crazy recon skin, like, okay, this guy put in the work to do his 500 headshots at X amount of range and his 1,000 spots and all that stuff.
Like Call of Duty did back in the day when you would do all that for like the gold skins. That was the big thing. Christian said those aren't presets ? It's entire guns. Yeah, there's definitely guns that are exclusive to that, because I've cycled through stuff and it says you have to complete this challenge to actually get the gun. But Christian's late for class. Okay, bye. Thank you, Christian, for joining us. See you this weekend for the server slam. Hell yeah.
Yes, sir.
We also have Guy in the chat. What's wrong? You guys don't like sweating your balls off for a COD match? He said, I do like Battlefield 6 making things feel earned, but I think it could take 50% less time to get and still be good. Yeah, I think that's totally fair.
Yep, I agree.
Totally fair. Trying to think anything else positive before we go into the negatives. Overall, the game's just fun. I don't.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring up sound design again just because it's incredibly good, and that's something that DICE has been good at for many games now. Even going back to, like I said, Star Wars Battlefront. Sound design is like next level. It sounds so good, and it just it's night and day compared to something like Call of Duty, which is what I would say is like a direct competitor. Where this just everything feels intentional. Like I'm listening to where the guns are firing from, and not just hearing gun noises for the sake of hearing gun noises. Like it's like, where is the shots coming from? Are they inside? Are they outside? It's just, it kind of really immerses you, and especially when you're like on point and it's the final push and everything's going down. Yeah, sound design is nuts in this game.
Yeah. Fucking the war tapes. Woo! Really
war
cranks
tapes,
it up.
yeah.
Kirik asks what systems we're playing Battlefield 6 on. I'm playing on Xbox Series X, and Gage is playing on PC, which it seems like, to their credit, this game's very well optimized.
Yes. Once you download the drivers that you need, the game is incredibly well optimized. Yeah, I'm getting well over like 100 frames playing it on... I'm just playing it on medium settings, to be fair. I don't have it cranked, but medium looks more than... good enough for me.
Yeah, in the performance mode on Series X, it still looks really good, even though it's performance mode, and I think
right.
I think is it 90 FPS? I don't know, something higher than 60, but it looks and performs really well on Xbox as well. I was very, very impressed by that.
I think it targets 80 if I remember correctly.
Okay.
On performance mode.
Kirik also asked if it's crossplay. Yes, it is crossplay. We were testing the limits of that because I think Christian was on PlayStation, I was on Xbox, and you were on PC. So we were like,
all we needed was Row there with the Nintendo Switch 2 port, and then we would have had it all 4 Infinity Stones.
Yeah, Battlefield 6 on the Switch 2. That would be a sight. Sight to see.
Performance mode is 40 frames per second.
I could see it maybe 30, and then performance at 6 or 40. Yeah, very interesting. This might be the first AAA game lately not running like absolute dog shit. Guy says.
That's you're reading that out. I was like, this is a Guy comment if I've ever heard it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, just wait, Guy, for this weekend. You're gonna get to see another game that's well optimized out of the gate.
That's true. I mean, the fucking technical test we played was pretty well optimized, I think.
Yep.
Okay, so that's our positives. Do we have any other negatives besides the challenges and progression system of Battlefield 6?
I do.
Okay.
And I'm really fucking mad because I thought we learned our lesson from Battlefield 1. But lo and behold, the studio heads will always cater to the casual market. And I guess it's just the way things go nowadays. I'm so fucking sick of bloom in shooters. I hate it. I hate random bloom. I hate weapon spread. It drives me fucking insane. And in this game specifically, it feels so bad. There are so many times where I'm using a reticle on an assault rifle, a very precision red dot, ACOG, whatever you want to call it. And it's just unavoidable. I'm noticing it every time where I'm shooting at somebody that's maybe 30, 40 meters away. Like, that's not a crazy distance, especially for Battlefield. And I'm just watching the tracers zip off to the left and zip off to the right. Even though me as a player, I'm doing everything right and keeping the reticle on target. It's just, I mean, I know why it's there. It lowers the skill gap and it kind of keeps everything fair, so to speak. But it really fucking sucks being somebody who's like, somebody surprises me and I turn around and slide and turn it around on them and I can see my bullets should be hitting but they're not and then I lose the fight anyways. It's casual nonsense that I hate. I really, really hate it. I wish that they would go back to a more specific sort of like your bullets always hit somewhat center, but the screen throws your reticle around. I think that's just a superior way of balancing recoil. So I have a big problem with that. It is really kind of like hampering my enjoyment of the game, but I'm trying to use certain weapons and work around it. But it bothers me a lot. I hate it. I hate it with a passion.
I'm curious, like, because now forgive me if I'm mistaking what you're saying, but like, isn't that the whole purpose of like the attachment system is to counterbalance like that kind of stuff, to counterbalance the sway and that kind of stuff? Because like for me specifically, obviously I can't talk about like a wide variety of weapons because I've basically just been using the PDX, but like it feels really good to me, like especially even at range, where you would expect to see like bullets not hitting all the time and stuff like that. Like with all my attachments decked out, it feels amazing, like in terms of that. So I'm just curious, like, are you saying like the base level, you think it's too much bloom and too much spread and that kind of stuff, or?
So the overwhelming majority of weapons I've used. Actually, I would say every weapon I've used feels like it has way too much bloom. And now, funny enough, the SGX is the one weapon I haven't used yet, so maybe that gun feels really good. Battlefield devs are claiming it's due to a bug and that they're going to look into it and fix it, and that it's some sort of thing on the coding. I don't think so. I think that it's just the bloom is cranked too much and they're going to dial it back a little bit. I've not used the SGX, so maybe the SGX is like super accurate and that's good, but no, I've noticed it with every weapon, and I'm noticing it because, like I said, I'm watching the reticle and I'm keeping my shots on target and I'm seeing the bullets fly out in random dispersion patterns. So
Gotcha.
yeah, for me it seems like it's almost every gun, and it goes from being completely ridiculous bloom to like ridiculous bloom with the right attachments. There's not enough of a difference, and I feel like it unless you're using a DMR or a sniper, it's very hard to get your shots on target.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Kirik did say in the chat, tomorrow they're releasing the ROG Ally X, Xbox Ally X. This is what you need for Battlefield 6, Dan. It's like, I don't think I want to spend $1,000 for that. Thank you. As cool, as powerful as it is for handheld, I think I'm all right now. Glenn said, Gage never learns, so not a far drive for him to go insane. What? And then Guy said, to be honest, I only use snipers, RPG, and shotguns. So far, have not noticed the bloom. EA rewarding the French.
Okay.
Wait a minute, Guy. When were you going to call us up and say, hey, let me join your party? We didn't get that call.
He doesn't like doing it anymore. No, because you know what? Because he just said he only spends his time sniping, so he doesn't want to join our squad and be bottom of the leaderboard.
Yeah. Well.
Go ahead, Dan, say it.
I mean, the bottom half of the leaderboard is well reserved already for somebody else. I won't mention names.
Somebody who's talking right now.
I won't. Oh shit. He said okay. Guy bought it Monday. He hasn't had much time to play yet. Okay, well, we have the Arc Raiders server slam this weekend, so we may not play that much this weekend, but we'll have to squad up. Christian, I miss giggling with the boys.
It's been 3 days since you were giggling with the boys.
All right. Yeah. Any other thoughts, Gage, on Battlefield?
It's pretty good.
Pretty good. And I think it's the best Battlefield we've had
You
since.
really love it. There's a few times over the weekend where somebody was using a game of the year was being thrown around.
I did. I said that, and you know what? I give me a few weeks, and I might start believing that this might be a game of the year contender.
Wow.
Just from the multiplayer. Obviously, I haven't played the single player at all, and
nor have I.
I think it's an interesting question on if somebody doesn't play like a single player portion of a game, like should that be a factor in like a game of the year discussion? I don't know. I don't know. Because obviously this game was like extremely focused on multiplayer. And as we saw, the last game didn't even have a single player. So it's like, it's an interesting question. If a developer includes something but is not that good, or you don't play it, like how impactful is that for a game of the year discussion? I don't know. I have to chew on that. But yes, enjoying the hell out of it. All right. Let's move on then to our news of the week, Gage. Obviously, we're the most qualified people here to talk about this. I say that sarcastically because it is Pokemon news. Although, I've got Pokemon cards. I'm a big Pokemon card collector now. I'm just saying. But anyways, all right. The entire Pokemon game slate has been leaked through 2030. So, a little disclaimer here: if you don't want to know what Pokemon games are upcoming, stop listening for about 5 or 10 minutes as we talk about this, because I know some people don't want this kind of stuff surprised ahead of time, or they want to be surprised when these things come out. And this is a lot through 2030. So fair warning there. But the summary here, 2025 to 2026 is the Mega Dimension, codename Sankaku. The 2026 era will be Pokemon Wind and Wave, which will be Gen 10, codenamed Gaia. 2027 will give us Gaia DLC. 2027 to 2028 will give us codename Ringo, which is Legends Galar is the name. Pokemon Arceus Legends, I think, that franchise, the third game of that. And then 2028 to 2029 is a codename Seed, which is an online multiplayer MMO multi-region game with Kanto, Johto, Hone, Sinnoh, and Kitakami, as well as 2030 seeing the launch of Gen 11. Just to give you a little bit of an idea, not give you a little bit an idea, but Gage, we also have screenshots here that were part of that leak as well, which one of these games, Gaia in particular, looks kind of beautiful, actually. Like, this is the one that's coming out in 2026, Wind and Wave, and like the screenshots we're getting here looks really good. An open world, lush environments, like jungle-ish, not jungle, but like vibrant outdoors. It looks nice.
The biggest thing I'm seeing, and the last one I played was Sword and Shield, so I don't know if there was many games in between that one and this one. But from Sword and Shield, this looks like a huge upgrade to lighting specifically. The first screenshot there looks like it actually has like a nice bit of like ambiance to it. I know a lot of, again, like you and I are not the people to talk about this, and Sword and Shield, like I said, is the first Pokemon game I've played in a long, long time, but I think what I hear is that a lot of people kind of want a big improvement to the gameplay systems and like some sort of new feature set to really get immersed in these games. So unless I see something like that kind of hooks me and is reeling me in, I don't think this is really going to do anything for me, unfortunately.
See, and I want to see a game where it's just the original 151, and then I'll be all in. I'll be loving that.
Dude, let me start making berries again. Little berry cubes.
We also got a screenshot of Legends Galar, which is the third RCS Legends game in production. And this one doesn't really do a whole lot for me from these screenshots we're getting. Obviously, these are just like a couple screenshots, but the other one kind of impressed me. This one, not so much. We also got screenshots for 2028, 2029's codename Seed, which is the MMO type game. And it looks pretty dense, actually. Like, there looks like cities and streets and stuff like that. It looks kind of interesting. Obviously, I'm not a huge MMO person, so wouldn't be catered to me anyways, but it looks really dense from these screenshots, so that would be kind of interesting, actually. All right, that is our news of the week, Gage. It is now safe to come back if you're gone. I typed in the Twitch chat for Keurig. I wasn't sure. Oh, he was just playing around. Okay. He was freaking out. I was like, "Oh, I'll put it in text chat when we're done." But he was just kidding. All right, let's jump into the street meets here, Gage. Valve's next headset has reportedly entered mass production, according to a supply chain analyst and friend of Sadly It's Bradley, Black Hair Sheriff 008. Valve's next VR headset is slated to be entering production now with a target between 400,000 and 600,000 units within the first fiscal year. The original post is in Chinese and was also briefly removed due to an error that the author is correcting. So I won't bother linking it, and we'll update when the post comes back up. This is from Reddit. But the headline information was corroborated by both Tyler McVicker and Brad Lynch. The summary can be found on Upload VR.
I'm excited. I'm very, very excited. If something enters mass production, I mean, what? This is possibly a Q1 2026 release date? Like, it's, to me, that says it's very, very close.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm curious to see specs, to see functionality. I mean, this, as somebody who's currently without a VR headset, this is very, very enticing.
And whose fault was that, Gage?
Nobody's fault. It was God's plan.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
Steam frame. Let's see it.
Incredible. Guy said, okay, just to clear this up, Guy said the Saudis buying EA might have been a good thing. No, I heard the devs can now actually do their thing. Technically, that deal isn't complete yet, Guy, so I don't think they could just magically all of a sudden, fuck, all right, everything's good at EA. The Saudis bought them. Even if that was a good thing, I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not. Anyways, but whole other discussion. Keurig also said, I want it. I will buy the new Valve headset and build a whole new PC if needed for it. I wouldn't think you would need to build a new PC if your current one can handle VR games. I wouldn't think it would be any crazy.
Yeah, I think the rumor is that this thing is going to be some sort of MetaQuest competitor. It's going to be an all-in-one headset, I think.
Standalone.
Yes.
So, like, you could also plug it in, I'm guessing, to your PC, similar to
yes, that's true. That's true, yeah.
Gotcha. My current VR PC is super old. Well, then you might need to start doing some upgrades. Might need to start.
Pull some of the hardware from the 6 PlayStations you have and
yeah,
Frankenstein a PC together. Keurig.
Yeah. Let's jump into the quick bites here. Mark Cerny has teased a new graphics feature he's excited to bring to a future console in a few years' time. According to someone, let's see. Much of it boils down to how the companies are working to make it easier for future GPUs to handle graphics upscaling, ray tracing, and the super intensive path tracing techniques used to make game worlds look more realistic. Cerny says the current approach has reached its limit, so Sony is working with AMD to integrate components of its next-gen RDNA architecture in future consoles. AMD's Hyin introduced Radiance cores, which is similar in theory to NVIDIA's ray tracing cores, that are dedicated to handling ray tracing and path tracing. In addition to Sony's new consoles having the new cores, they will almost certainly be built into AMD's future desktop GPUs as well, and likely within whatever it's assisting with the Xbox partnership. The Radiance cores supposedly deliver a speed boost to performance, freeing up other components to quickly process shaders and textures instead of having to spin so many plates, so to speak. The new GPU tech will also benefit from advancements in AMD's FSR Redstone, its latest AI-assisted upscaling technology such as neural radiance caching, as well as likely whatever upscaling tech comes after. Another key area for improvement is compression, which will free up more bandwidth for GPUs to run future games at peak performance and fidelity, which Sony is improving on the Delta color compression technique used on the PS5 and PS5 Pro that compress textures and render targets. Its next hardware will utilize the new, more efficient technique called universal compression that compresses everything in the pipeline. So essentially, a lot of exciting new tech being put into these new consoles, and exciting to get some new tech.
Very exciting.
The next quick bite here, New Game Plus and more is coming in an anniversary update for it's now released, for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. We're getting New Game Plus, Cairo outfit, a voice language select for both text and voice. Full patch notes can be found on Machine Games website. There's a bunch of patches, bug fixes and patches and such as well, so get back in. The next
sleeping.
What?
This is me sleeping because of that story.
Fuck you. Indiana Jones was fun. Get out of here.
You and your boomer franchise.
Dun-dun-dun-dun. I don't even like the franchise. That's what's funny. Or like not that I actively dislike it. I was never a fan of the franchise, but I like the game.
Crazy. I remember watching you play the last mission for what felt like 6 hours.
Yeah, let's just stop the slander right there. Call of Duty has announced matchmaking details for Black Ops 7. The Call of Duty community is unmatched. This is from Call of Duty on Twitter. And we thank you for joining us in the Black Ops 7 beta over the last week. This beta has provided Treyarch the opportunity to try new things and rapidly test and implement player feedback. Building on this feedback, we can confirm that open matchmaking with minimal skill consideration will be the default for Black Ops 7 multiplayer. Additionally, to help keep players together from match to match more often, persistent lobbies will be coming to Black Ops 7 at launch on November 14th as well. Both of these features, I think, are wins. Whether the game is a win or not, I don't know. But I did see people having a good time with this matchmaking in the beta, from what I heard. I didn't actually play it, so I can't back that up. But
and somebody like me who's always suspicious of companies' ulterior motives, it's kind of weird to see them doing this now, where for years they've been saying, no, trust us, you guys actually prefer SBMM. And then they do this one test and it's a big hit, and they're like, yeah, we were listening to you guys, we're going to do it now. All of this happening under the shadow of Battlefield 6 and its resurgence in popularity is kind of making me raise an eyebrow, but the fact that it's happening at all is a good thing, don't get me wrong, but it's very, very convenient timing.
Which is interesting because Battlefield 6 doesn't use no skill matchmaking, right? It has.
They've always had it's always been less intense just because of the size of the lobbies. They've always prioritized. Yeah. So the way that they've balanced it, SPMM has always felt less intense in Battlefield just because of the nature of the game.
That's totally fair. Okay, that could be another story that we talk, or another topic that we talk about one day, because I'm of the side that I don't know that necessarily skill-based matchmaking is a bad thing, but I know that's controversial, and that's a whole topic, I think.
Yeah, you don't have to play Halo with you, all right? You don't have to play Halo with you.
But somebody does, some shitty players joining a lobby with a bunch of really skilled players, then I
Yeah, then we'll talk about SPMM and see how we feel.
Right. All right. The next quick bite. Minecraft has announced a Minecraft movie sequel is coming July 23rd, 2027. For all you people that enjoyed this movie, I never saw it. All the kids. Glenn said it sounds like that was probably a skill issue, though, as to why it took him so long, Gage.
It sounds like it's directed at you, so I'm going to agree with Glenn on this, but I don't know what he's talking about.
I don't know what he was referring to either.
Oh, he's talking about you taking forever to beat the final boss in Indiana Jones.
Okay. All right, Glenn.
Which that was a skill issue. Glenn, if you had watched that, you'd be like averting your eyes like it's a car
get
crash.
Out of here. All right. The slander's got to stop. Nintendo has commented on Pikmin's video coming from Nintendo Pictures last week, I think. They showed it off last week. A little short that they worked on called Close to You. And they commented that the two videos were first short films created by Nintendo Pictures, the company's motion capture and animation studio that previously worked on a range of video games and CGI movies. Today's statement is suggesting that the films are not viral marketing for anything else, and this is not our first look at Pikmin 5, though the door is left open for more short films in the future. Maybe they're trying to get into films in the future. I don't know. Themselves. Ralph Ineson, the voice of the pirate Charles Vane in Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, has voiced his thoughts on the Civil War Assassin's Creed game being canceled. And his thoughts... Let me just get his quote exactly right here. He wrote, "Once again, fuck off." The message follows another, even more succinct recent post, "Fuck off," directed by Ennison at a report concerning Tilly Norwood. But yes, I agree with him. Fuck off. Like that could have been a good game, and canceling it because
it could have been a great game.
Really great game. Also, some bit of Assassin's Creed news. Assassin's Creed's franchise boss, Mark Alexis Cote, has departed Ubisoft just 2 weeks after the franchise became operated by Vantage Studios, which spun out of that deal that they made. I can't remember. Was that the Saudi? I think that was the Saudi group as well that spun that out. I don't know. Cote previously served as a game director on Assassin's Creed 3, creative director on Black Flag DLC Freedom Cry with Adewale, and Assassin's Creed Syndicate and more. So after 20 years, he has left Ubisoft. Hopefully we still got some good stuff cooking from the franchise. Hopefully Hex is still in the works, because
yes,
would like to see some more original stuff from Assassin's Creed. Our next story, Mortal Kombat 3, the movie, has been confirmed with Jeremy Slater returning to write the script. This is before the second movie has even premiered. Warner Brothers has already given the go-ahead on the third film, which I enjoyed the first one. I don't know if you watched it or not, Gage, but I enjoyed it. It was something. I don't know. It wasn't like an amazing film, but I enjoyed it for what it was.
I thought the first movie was fine. The second one hasn't come out yet, right?
Right. It is not released yet. No.
Yeah.
could have been game of the year, Glenn said. It could have been. He's talking about the Assassin's Creed Civil War game. Definitely could have been. If it had something to tell, you know, it created a good story. Right. Randy Pitchford is back out in the news here. Hello, Randy. Dan specifically still fucking thinks you're a psychopath and a weirdo, but he's out here making wild comments again. Randy Pitchford has said that if other developers better understood why gamers love making decisions about loot, Gearbox would have good competitors. He was speaking in an interview with BBC Radio 5 to discuss the release of Borderlands 4. Yada, 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 yada. Our mission is to entertain the world, Pitchford said, which means we suck because there are billions of people in the world. We got a lot of work to do. Borderlands with 4, we're going to cross probably 100 million. Okay, for the franchise. I thought, okay. With
which even still...
4, yeah,
I don't know if those numbers are mathing correctly.
I think he's saying the franchise is going to cross 100 million. I don't think he's saying
sure, but like any given Borderlands has sold what, like 5-6 million units. How are we getting to 100 million for the franchise?
Well, there is spinoffs like pre-sequel. If they're including Wonderlands, even though it's not a Borderlands, I don't know. I'd have to look at the numbers. I don't know. That's awesome compared to a lot of things, but it kind of sucks if your goal is to entertain the world. So I feel like we're just getting started. I've been working on Borderlands for over 20 years now, and it feels like we're just starting to get pretty good at it. It feels like we're starting to figure it out. I feel like we've probed a lot of the endpoints, but I don't think we're anywhere near the end of a journey. Okay, Randy. Anyways, he's acting as though there's not other games that have been successful as looter shooters, and, you know, there's just a massive one called Destiny and Destiny 2 that was in its prime and is essentially a looter shooter. So I don't think that that's really accurate, Randy. And also, you have 20 years of Borderlands experience, but you fucking couldn't figure out how to make a movie about Borderlands because that fucking movie was dog shit, you dipshit. Anyways.
Damn, get him. You also couldn't figure out how to do an endgame for Borderlands 4, which is fine.
Oh, I love Randy Pitchford. Our next quick bite. Screenshots of Everwild from Rare have emerged from when it was canceled in June. We got some looks at it here. And according to MP First, these images were from a version of the game quite close to its cancellation in June of this year. Got to be honest, looking at the screenshots here, the UI itself looks very basic, and it's not doing anything for me, but the art style of the game itself looks really good still, like from everything we've seen in the past. So it is sad that we won't ever see this game come out. But anyways. And then Jeff Keighley today announced Summer Game Fest is officially returning Friday, June 5th, 2026 in the Dolby Theater in LA. Public tickets are available spring 2026. There you go. Summer Game Fest returning. And our last quick bite. Rest in peace to Michael D'Angelo Archer, who is an R&B star known specifically for Unshaken in Red Dead Redemption 2, among many other things, who has passed away at the age of 51. That's way too young. Very, very sad. Thoughts go out to his family and everyone affected, but terrible.
Way too young. And what an incredibly talented person, too.
Absolutely. All right. Into the fantasy draft check-in gauge. Fantasy draft check-in. There were no new pickups this week, so nothing to talk about there. But we do have a couple of updates here. One of which being Battlefield 6, of course, drafted by none other than Halo is Unreal, which is my team. which it is sitting at an 84 on OpenCritic, giving me a whopping 14 points. I do remember a certain Christian telling me that this pickup would be stupid. And who is stupid? He didn't say stupid, but look what I got now, Christian. I got 14 points from Battlefield 6. Where you at? And then also we have an update on Pokemon Legends Z to A, which of course was drafted by Ro himself, Row Your Boat Games, which is sitting at an 81 on OpenCritic, giving him 11 points there. So both of us moving up in the world. We also will have Keeper coming out on Friday, which I don't know when that review embargo is, but I would imagine obviously we'll have probably reviews by next week for that. So keep an eye out for that. But down the pipeline, other than Keeper coming Friday, we have Ninja Gaiden 4 coming from Christian's team next week on the 21st. Then we have Dispatch starting its episodic release next week on the 22nd for my team. And then we have Outer Worlds 2 here very soon, 2 weeks from today, Gage, for your team, which is such a weird release day on a Wednesday. That's odd.
It doesn't make any,
Yeah. And then literally the day after, the only person that believed in Arc Raiders releasing October 30th, Dan drafted Arc Raiders, the only person who believed.
Stop.
And then the same day, we also have Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D remake for Rose team as well. A lot of stuff coming down the pipeline. It's going to be an exciting end of the month for Fantasy Critic. But a quick check-in to see where we're at. Christian, of course, is still running away with first place. I don't think any of us can stop him at this point, unfortunately. But Rose Devil is sitting at 180 points for Christian, and he has 11 games released. Dan is sitting in second, and that is Halo is Unreal's team, and it's 140 points right now with 10 games released. And then close third place is Gage, Okie Dokie Inc., sitting with 123 points, and he has 10 games released as well. And then Ro is silently coming back here because the last time we checked in on him, he was pretty far away, and now he's sitting at 111, quietly scraping his way back into it. Fourth place, but he only has 8 games released. So Ro's making a comeback.
He's still in the conversation. He's still in it.
He is. It's going to be exciting. The projected points changed. Engage is currently projected fourth place, according to Fantasy Critic. Now, that doesn't mean anything.
If this happens again,
this
happens again, I will...
This is just a projection. It doesn't mean anything. Maybe. Oh. All right. Let's go. Let's go into what you got for me, Dan. What you got for me? Well, Dan, all I have for you is Battlefield 6. I've been playing a shitload of Battlefield 6. I cannot get off of the SGX. I just want to use it all the time, every day, all day. And, nobody can stop me from doing so. But yeah, having a lot of fun with it. This is something I forgot to mention, so I'll mention it right now. Even playing solo, this game feels like so much fun. Like, I was playing last night for a little while and having a ton of fun just by myself, with no mic on, nothing, and just getting into it. And yeah, so good. So good. But Gage, what you got for me?
Dan, I got a whole lot of the same. I've got Battlefield, and Battlefield.
Nice.
But yeah, having fun with it, having fun with the boys. Ready to get into some Arc Raiders this weekend, though. Let me tell you.
That's gonna be exciting. Back into it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you have not been paying attention this weekend, for 3 days, I think it was the 17th, 18th, and 19th. They're opening up Arc Raiders Server Slam for you guys to play. So I would definitely recommend downloading it and playing it, checking it out. It is, from when we played the technical test, a lot of fun. Even if you don't like extraction shooters, give it a try.
Right.
Our resident extraction shooter expert says, right. Give it a try.
Not only, I mean, it's great. It's the holy matrimony of like if it's good for people that are not into extraction shooters because it does a good onboarding process, but there's enough of the end game thought out that for somebody like me who played like 200 hours plus in Tarkov, I'm like, damn, this is well thought out. So excited to get back into it.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And it's even more exciting, Gage, that 1 week from Friday, we'll be finding out some Halo news. I cannot contain my excitement.
This is true. Brought to you by Azure.
By Azure. I'm thinking next week our topic of the show will probably be Arc Raiders Server Slam impressions.
And then the one after that will be Halo.
Oh yeah. We got this mapped out, baby. We got this mapped out. So make sure you guys stay tuned and come back for that. But until then, thank you again to everyone joining us live and participating on the why am I saying that? That's the wrong line. On YouTube and Twitch, as well as podcast services everywhere, including Apple Podcast, YouTube Music, Spotify, and everywhere else you get your podcast. I'm so used to saying that intro. That's what's stuck in my head. Thank you, Gage. Roshan will return, and I am Daniel, and this has been Podcast PXN, and we are out. Much love, and keep on gaming.
Adios.